I recommend it. And some people didn't like it because it was the story is being told from a feminist point of view. And even if it was, I don't know what the problem really is. Right? Feminists are feminists. They want to be recognized. You know, we do have to lift up the women in a way that they feel comfortable about themselves. I think that's a good thing. Right? So if it's being told from a feminist point of view, I think it's important for us to, as a man, to kind of see it and see if it's something that's important or not. Don't you agree? I don't know why people get all upset about that. I think it's important. And to be honest with you, the reason why I would recommend this movie, because Mary Magdalene is really, really good in this film. Right? I know that historically she's not the I don't think she's the prostitute, Mary. She's not the Mary that wiped the feet of Jesus, with some kind of a perfume or whatnot. But she is the one supposed to have had some kind of demonic influence in her life. And you see that in the movie, that other religious people try to, what is that thing called when you try to take demons out of people? Exorcise, yeah. Exorcise demons out of her that actually made her even worse. And I personally have seen that in my life, where some people are considered demon possessed or being influenced by demons, and people pray over them and try to exorcise, right? I don't like that kind of stuff, to be honest with you. I'm not gonna say it doesn't exist. Let people who believe in that stuff do it. But personally, I don't like it, because I think a lot of times it is abused. That whole scene of trying to exorcise demons and stuff, especially when we don't know exactly what the Bible means when someone is demonized. I don't know, because if you look at it from Aramaic Bible, it seems to say that demonized meaning that we are kind of confused in our head. We have different thoughts and ideas that's not good for us. Right? That other voices, like people's gossiping or other thoughts that are out there, is causing us trouble. That could be demonized. I don't know. So in today's context, yeah, there's so many different voices out there, right? We got the Democrats and the Republicans, and we have all these other voices trying to say women should be like this, men should be like this, or, you know, blacks, whites, you know, Asians, and everybody has rights in a way. And we have so many different voices now, and they're not really unifying. All right, they're not really unifying. There's so many different voices that are out there. It makes it seem like, yeah, who do you follow? Who do you trust? And I think a lot of people are confused today. And it seems like Mary Magdalene was as well. In the movie, I think she was kind of more confused because she was being forced to marry somebody she didn't love, and she didn't like that, right? As a woman, she wanted to marry somebody whom she loved and things like that. And just when she was most confused, she finds Jesus Christ. And once again, Joaquin Phoenix Jesus is way too serious. Way too serious. And you could tell he's really conflicted. And sometimes you see him, I think he only smiled once in this whole movie. Other times he's really like beat down in his mind, I think. He's tired, he's passing out. I don't get it. Personally, I don't get it. Like, I guess in a way you could say Jesus was, the weight of the world was on him, so that's why he's being weirded out like that, I guess. But I do like the conversation between Jesus and Mary Magdalene. I like the fact that he was learning from her in a sense. You know, I'm not saying Jesus doesn't need to, I mean, I guess you could say Jesus doesn't need to be taught anything, but I kind of like the fact that before Mary Magdalene comes along and says something, he kind of didn't realize how important it was for him and other disciples to reach out to women, because 2,000 years ago, they were so separated, you see. And so I kind of like that. I really do. We do need, a woman's perspective on a lot of things. But the best scene of all, basically, is that Jesus immediately causes her to go and spread the gospel. And gives her the authority to preach in a way. And they go to this town where all the women are gathered together in one area. They're working. And this one lady shows up, is there. They walk up to her because she seems to be very stressed out, angry, a lot of animosities. And they go to her, and she started talking about how terrible life is. Okay? And this is really, really important. She started talking about how terrible life is. Her husband, I think, beat her. She has to do all the work. She doesn't get no thanks. And, a lot of complaints and stuff like that. And she's looking at Jesus Christ and Mary Magdalene and saying, what do you say about this? All this unfair stuff, right? Inequality that's going on. What should I do? And Mary Magdalene, who has learned from Jesus Christ, says, forgive. Forgive. Because if you don't, that hatred in your heart is going to weigh you down so much more that it's not going to do you any good. The best way to do it, whether the other men, her husband, or whatever, whether they deserve it or not, Mary Magdalene was saying, you got to forgive. That's exactly what Jesus would say. Right? Because if we as people have been treated unfairly, only we have the power to forgive. And Jesus said in other parts, we say, if you forgive, they will be forgiven in heaven as well. I mean, we have the power to forgive. And what's wrong with that message? How could other Christians not like this movie? Because the message is perfect, in my opinion. And I think if you're a feminist, and if this movie was made from a feminist point of view, if the message is in the movie is for women who feel there are a lot of inequality in the world, then they should watch this movie, and maybe forgiveness would be the beginning of healing with all the stuff that's going on in the world today, right? Because it seems to be divided, right? And I think that's a good thing. Good message. All feminists, all women should watch it. I think it's really good message. I liked it. I really liked it. Of course, there's the crucifixion scene. That was kind of cool. And it is true that all the men that followed Jesus really weren't there at the feet of Christ when he was being crucified. I think John was supposed to have been there. Mary the mother was there, and Mary Magdalene. And not only that, after the resurrection, right, 3 days after Jesus was crucified, it was Mary that actually went to the grave first because she missed him so much. And I really liked that little interaction that Mary had, because it seems that she was the one that really, really believed in Jesus, where the 12 disciples, they had a wrong idea about Jesus Christ, which is true. Right? If you read the scripture, it seems that the disciple thought that Jesus was going to go into Jerusalem and overtake Jerusalem and kick out the Romans and rule the world from there. And the 12 disciples really, really wanted that to happen so that they could also become leaders in this new world that Jesus was going to create in Israel. Right? But when Jesus was arrested and didn't fight back, I think disciples got all scared and they were confused. And you could see that in the movie. Whereas Mary was the first one. They said, perhaps we understood him. Maybe that's not what Jesus wanted to do. Right? So all the disciples, all of them, gave up to a point. They didn't go to the grave to see if Jesus did come back from life or not. But it was Mary that did it. So she deserved a lot of credit there. She had faith. She really did. And if you ever had a chance to read a book of Mary, the Gospel of Mary, I kind of like that because I think it's kind of like it in the movie too, when the disciples among themselves are talking, is that, hey, can a woman follow Jesus Christ? Can a woman be part of their group? That's one of the conversations they had. And the book of Mary talks about that the disciples are conflicted. Right? There is a special message that Jesus Christ told Mary that Jesus didn't tell them. So what should we do? Should we listen to Mary as if Jesus did teach her something that Jesus didn't teach them? Or should they reject her? And that's part of a book of Mary, a Gospel of Mary. And at the end, they decide to accept the teaching of Mary Magdalene. And the teaching was, I mean, I really like it, to be honest with you. The important teaching that Mary had to say is no more new laws. That's great, right? That's great, because the whole idea about Jesus preaching and stuff like that was to get rid of the law so that we could live by grace and by the power of the Spirit. And I think Mary would agree with that. And she said, no more law, no more new laws. I kind of like that. I really do. That part was not in the movie, but it was good. I wish Joaquin Phoenix would have played Jesus a little bit more, like, happier at a certain point. But I guess that was not the point of the movie, maybe. I don't know. But it's worth it, I think. It is worth it. To be honest with you, my wife was tired and she did kind of fall asleep. But it's a 2-hour-long movie. But at least for me, it went by really, really fast. All right? So if you were to put this movie along with all the other ones, I don't know. I really think that number 1 and number 2 is The Last Temptation of Christ and The Miracle Maker. Book of John was really good. The Greatest Story Ever Told is good. The Passion is good. I reviewed a movie called The Apostle Paul. Half of that movie is good. The second half is really good too. So hey, which Christian movie about, not Christian movie, but which movie about Jesus do you like the best? It'd be cool to discuss about that as well. If there is a movie concerning Jesus that I haven't seen yet, and if you want to recommend it for me, I will definitely see it, because I love movies about Jesus Christ, because I love Jesus and I love the Bible. So anyways, go ahead and support this movie. It's only $6.99 on Amazon or YouTube. I think you'll enjoy it. Message is great. God bless you, and I'll see you next time.